Once again, Honkai Star Rail is giving players a free 5-star character. After previously receiving Daughter Ratio, a free Hunt DPS unit, this time we are also getting another Hunt character. But what makes this one different is that the character is a part of collaboration with the anime Fate Stay Night. It's Archer. Many might think that a free unit would probably have underwhelming potential, especially in a game where the meta changes so rapidly. But is that really the case? What kind of kit does Archer actually have? In this video, I'll be discussing Archer's skills, ultimate, traces and technique, as well as his signature light cone and character synergy. So without further ado, let's get started. Archer is a 5-star Hunt character with the Quantum element and will be available for free in the future. He is a DPS unit that heavily relies on consuming a large number of skill points to unleash high damage output. Because of this, he depends greatly on his skill, which he can repeatedly use to continuously attack and serve as his main source of damage. However, thanks to one of his traces, his presence on the battlefield increases the team's maximum skill points by 1. A much needed boost considering how SP hungry he is. On top of that, he also has the ability to perform follow-up attacks using charges, which he gains from his ultimate. These charges are consumed whenever an ally attacks an enemy. Archer has a base attack of 621 and a relatively high base speed of 105. As you level up his traces, you will also gain bonus stats such as quantum damage boost, HP, and crit rate. Archer's basic attack is not anything special. He simply attacks a single enemy and deals quantum damage equal to 100% of his attack. However, it's his skill that plays a much more crucial role. When activated, Archer enters circuit connection mode, then fires an arrow at a single enemy, dealing 400% quantum damage. There's one important thing to understand about this mode. While Archer is in circuit connection, using his skill does not end his turn. Instead, it increases his skill damage by 100%, and this buff can stack up to 2 times, lasting until he exits this mode. However, once he has used his skill 5 times, or if the team runs out of skill points, using the skill again will force him to exit circuit connection and end his turn. Additionally, if all enemies in the current wave are defeated, he will also automatically exit this mode. Given how heavily he consumes skill points, it's safe to say that one of the characters who can synergize well with him is Sparkle, but we will dive deeper into character synergies in that section. Now for his ultimate, Archer unleashes an attack on a single enemy, dealing quantum damage equal to 1200% of his attack. Upon activation, he gains 2 charges, and he can store up to 4 in total. But what exactly are these charges for? The answer lies in his talent. Whenever one of Archer's allies attack an enemy, he will consume 1 charge to launch follow-up attack on the same primary target. This follow-up attack deals damage equal to 240% of his attack. On top of that, if his talent is triggered, Archer also generates 1 skill points. So aside from providing extra damage, this mechanic also helps compensate for his heavy skill point consumption. Let's take a look at his traces and technique next. In addition to the 100% skill damage increase from his circuit connection, Archer also has a powerful self-buff from his first trace. When a team member restores a skill point, whether through a basic attack or other means, and the team has 4 or more skill points, Archer gains 60% crit damage for 1 turn. The description does not mention any exceptions, which suggests that even Archer's own skill point restoration via his talent may trigger this trace. His second trace gives him 1 charge for his follow-up attacks right at the start of the battle. Since Archer has intense skill points consumption, his third trace can greatly help players manage this. When Archer is on the battlefield, the team's maximum skill point capacity increases by 1, bringing it up to 6. If you are running Sparkle as one of his supports, that means your team can have up to 8 skill points in total, allowing Archer much more freedom to spam his skill and quickly eliminate enemies. As for his technique, when activated before entering battle, it deals quantum damage equal to 200% of his attack to all enemies, and he gains 1 charge for his talent. With the combination of Trace 2 and his technique, Archer starts a battle with 2 charge immediately. Now that we have covered his entire kit, will Archer be strong enough to handle some of the game's in-game content and stand toe-to-toe with other DPS units? What do you think? If you are interested in investing in Archer's EIDOLONS, don't go anywhere, we will talk about that next. Archer's first Eidolon allows him to use a skill without consuming any skill points after using it 3 times in a row. This indirectly boosts his overall damage output since he can squeeze in an extra 1 or 2 skills more freely. Since his self-buffing kit mainly revolves around his skill, Eidolon 2 gives his ultimate a massive damage boost of 120%. While the main utility of his ultimate is to grant charges for his talent, its damage should not be underestimated either, especially with its high multiplier. If you manage to unlock Eidolon 4, you can confidently bring Archer into Memory of Chaos, even against enemies that don't have natural quantum weakness. That's because this Eidolon causes enemies hit by his ultimate to be inflicted with quantum weakness, reducing their quantum resist by 10% for 2 turns. Finally, Eidolon 6 grants 2 powerful effects. First, Archer restores 1 skill point for the team at the start of his turn. Second, the skill damage bonus from his circuit connection increases by 1 additional stack, meaning it can now reach 300% total damage boost instead of 200%. And as a final kicker, his skill will also ignore 20% of the enemy's defense. So based on all the Eidolons we have covered, it's fair to say that Eidolon 1 is the most impactful in this version 1. That's because Archer may struggle with skill point issues, especially on accounts that don't own characters like Sparkle. With E1, players can manage skill points consumption much more efficiently and allow Archer to contribute even more to the team's total damage output. While Eidolon 2's ultimate damage boost is indeed significant, I don't think it's essential, at least not to the point where you need to spend a lot more stellar jades to get it. After all, Archer's ultimate already performs well. The bigger issue lies in his skill consuming so many skill points. But that's just his Eidolons. What about his signature light cone? Let's dive into that next. For those planning to use Archer's signature light cone, here's what it offers. It provides the wearer with 16% crit rate. Then, if the team's maximum skill point capacity is 6 or more at the start of the battle, the wearer also gains 40% bonus attack. In addition, every time the user uses a skill, they gain an extra 10% attack, which can stack up to 4 times. This makes this light cone an excellent fit for Archer, who can easily raise the team's skill point cap to 6 and frequently uses his skill in combat. However, if we are talking about flexibility, this light cone can also work well on other hunt units, for example Facial, especially if you are taking on endgame content that favors wind element characters. But to activate this passive reliably, you will need to bring Sparkle, since her talent increases the team's skill point cap by 2. That said, Facial does not use her skill as frequently as Archer, so reaching the full 80% attack boost may take some time. Now, comparing the light cone to Archer's Eidolon 1, I would say E1 offers more practical value. It helps reduce skill point consumption and gives Archer more room to squeeze in additional skill uses, something crucial for a character so reliant on spamming his skill. As for the crit rate and attack bonus from this light cone, these can usually be covered by supports who will likely to be paired with Archer anyway, so his signature light cone is not absolutely essential. But of course, this is all based on version 1, and things may change. Future updates will bring adjustments to his Eidolon or light cone, so keep that in mind as we move forward. It becomes quite clear who synergizes best with Archer once you realize just how skill point hungry he is. The obvious answer, Sparkle. What sets Sparkle apart from other support units is that she does not just increase a DPS character's damage, she also raises the team's maximum skill point capacity. On top of that, her ultimate can restore up to 4 skill points for free, a scenario that makes Archer especially happy. That said, it's important to remember that Sparkle cannot always use her ultimate on demand, so that massive skill point recovery won't be happening all the time. Outside of her ultimate, she's not the most efficient at consistently restoring skill points either. Other supports like Robin or even Tribi are also great picks to pair with Archer, and they certainly won't feel out of place in the same team. Silverwolf can also be an excellent enabler in endgame content like Memory of Chaos, especially when enemies don't have a quantum weakness. After her recent buff, simply putting Archer in the first team slot will almost always make Silverwolf implant quantum weakness, turning every battle in his favor. For sustain options, Gallagher stands out as a strong choice. He's extremely skill point positive, and his enhanced basic attack can still help regenerate SP, which complements Archer's high SP demands very well. But beyond all of that, there's one more unit worth highlighting, one that truly helps single target hunt characters like Archer shine in non-single target scenarios. Cypher. When you are running Sparkle, you don't need to worry if she's only buffing Archer, because Archer's damage basically becomes Cypher's damage. The more damage Archer dishes out, the more powerful Cypher's ultimate becomes, thanks to its damage recording mechanic. In short, the stronger Archer is, the more devastating Cypher's finishing blow will be. So, Archer is a nuke-type DPS, a unit capable of delivering massive single-target damage. On top of that, he has a few strong self-buffs built into his kit, such as 60% crit damage bonus and up to 200% skill damage boost. And while he is undeniably skill point hungry, his kit does offer a few solutions to help manage this issue. For instance, he increases the team's maximum skill point capacity, and his talent allows him to restore SP under certain conditions. Another major plus is that he is not completely reliant on his signature light cone. The passive bonus it gives can be covered through relic stats or support buffs. And of course, the most important highlight, he is a free 5-star unit, available to all players. While it's true that his total damage can easily reach 500k or more, at the end of the day, Archer is still a hunt unit, which means he can struggle against content with multiple enemies. For example, his turn ends when all enemies in a wave are defeated, which can make SP investment feel inefficient in multi-target scenarios. He can unleash devastating damage when spamming his skill, maybe even using up to 5 skill points in a single turn, but reaching that point again can be difficult. As a result, his damage output is not always consistent, especially without proper team support. So what other pros and cons do you think Archer has? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. And that wraps up the kit overview for version 1 of Archer. I would love to hear what you think. Has Archer become a strong enough unit? Or do you think he still needs some buff in future updates? If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing. Don't forget to turn on notifications because up next I'll be breaking down Finance Kit. So I will see you guys in the next one.